much. I haven't got many opportunities to use the talk, so
How come?
I haven't gotten many leads at all. I mean, it's just
Okay.
the realtors I'm working with are dead. Now I'm starting a, kind of a new program and I just tested it with one agent, and she responded immediately. It just instead of using Facebook or anything like that, I went straight to LinkedIn, and
Hmm.
instead of just requesting a meeting, I went out and explained why I want to connect with her. Saying that
Okay.
I started out, it was pretty simple. I don't remember the exact verbiage, but I said something like, um, a lot of realtors have thanked me for inviting them to this new group. I was wondering if
Hmm.
you'd be interested, type thing. So
Okay.
he responded right away, and friended me, and then I sent her, asked her, if she wanted me to include her on the invite to these classes. She said yes, gave me her email, and then
Hmm.
I asked her if she if it's okay if I sign her up on the Facebook group. So I just sent you a friend request. So if you friend me, then I'll include you on the group. So she friended me right away. So I've
Awesome.
never, I haven't talked to this lady before, and she's agreeing to everything online. I still haven't talked to her, so I'll be calling her probably today.
Okay. Can I give you, and maybe we've talked about this, and I don't remember if we have or not. Most of the loan officers that I talk to on a weekly basis are very successful at getting realtors to call them back and to talk to them. Where they lose momentum is getting that realtor to convert into a realtor that refers them clients on a consistent basis.
Right.
Do you have that problem?
Yes, and that's why we're talking. But now I mean, I know a lot of what you've talked about so far has been towards the client, but I'm pretty clear on how you translate that to a real estate
Okay.
agent. So that's kind of what I'm going to do.
All
Talk
right.
about the three things that we discussed, and
Yep.
and how I
Yep.
work this. And yeah, so
Well,
that's what I'm going to.
here's an example. Here's an example of something I've been working on that I've shared with a couple other groups. Um, a lot of the times, the realtor doesn't fully understand the value of what it means to have a partnership with a loan officer. There's a very adversarial relationship between most realtors and lenders. Would you agree to that?
Yeah.
Okay. At least I believe the listing agent feels that way completely. I think in a lot of ways, the realtor, when a borrower chooses their lender, a lot of the times that realtor doesn't really have a say in who that client goes to for their financing. I think most consumers these days already have a pre-approval or at least have done their due diligence and have an idea of what they're going to be qualified for when they find and start working with a realtor. That's my perception. I could be wrong, but I think most clients and consumers already have a lender picked out. Would you agree to that? Would you think that's true?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
The realtors I work with, typically they say it's about 50-50. Some of them come to them already
Okay.
pre-approved,
Okay.
and they make
Yeah,
it
I agree.
out of it.
Oh,
They
50-50? Okay. That's fair. That's
but they
fair.
try to talk them
So,
out of it because of all the bad experiences they have. Like if they say, "Well, I'm with Bank of America," or "I'm with
right.
Chase," or a big bank, and they just went into a branch, then they say, "Well, it's going to be a nightmare. Be careful." And
Right. Right. And then the realtor will say something like, well, here's 3 business cards of loan officers that I recommend.
well, those aren't good partners.
Yeah,
No, they're not.
you have to retrain them because that's old school that they
Yeah.
had to do the 3
It,
choices.
exactly.
But yeah, and I always suggest a second opinion from me with no obligation should they already be pre-approved, and I've gotten deals like that.
Okay. One of the things that I like to do with my realtor meetings, it was really fun because everyone that's on this call knows what a realtor wants, right? Every realtor is after the same thing, and that is a referral. Every realtor that I've ever met, that I've ever interviewed, and asked them which one would they prefer, a lead or a referral, every realtor has said, I prefer a referral. Would you guys agree with that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. If you start a conversation and you know what the answer is going to be, but you can start off by, like Sue said, you can start retraining their brain. I always liked entering a conversation with this question. how do you define a successful transaction? And every realtor is going to have their own definition. And no matter what the definition is that they give you, there's only two answers. A referral is how I define a successful transaction, and every other answer. Because at the end of that response, if the realtor says, well, I want to get paid, I would simply respond with, I think that's a great result, but I don't think that defines a successful transaction. Because what I believe a successful transaction looks like is when your clients feel compelled to want to refer you. So with that being said, Mr. Realtor, which one would you prefer to work with, a referral or a lead? And like you guys said, every realtor is going to say a referral. What you've done at that point is you've brought everybody in the conversation to a level playing field. You are now setting the stage to get them to completely understand why your value is so great. And it's a perfect lead into, because I want every client of mine to refer me, and that's how I define a successful transaction, I'm very particular about the realtor relationships that I enter into, because not every realtor, like you said, wants the same thing. I want a referral. I expect that every loan that I take on, I'm going to get paid on. But what I expect as a greater result or a greater success is to get that client to refer me. And I don't believe many realtors either believe that they're capable of it, or B, have the ability to convince a client to refer them. But this is where I think my greatest value is with my realtor relationships. See, I look at my value differently than what you might. I look at my value as being centered around communication. And what I mean by communication is that I believe that I fulfill three distinct communication roles through the process. Now, can we agree, Mr. Realtor, that communication is probably the curse of every loan transaction? Why most deals fall apart is because of the lack of or misrepresentation of information through communication. Does everybody agree that we're on the same page, that communication is probably the biggest reason why deals go south? Is that a true statement?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so if we already agree that you prefer to work with a realtor or a referral, and you believe that communication is the #1 reason why most deals go south, does it seem to reason that if you could find a relationship with a lender that believes that communication is the primary function between the lender and the realtor and the client, and believes that the goal of every transaction is to get a referral, that would be an ideal partnership between both lender and realtor? And everyone would go, absolutely. And then I would say, well, let me talk to you a little bit about the mindset that I share with my clients. So I believe that I'm a consultant, I'm a negotiator, I'm a manager of fears and expectations. I'm not going to get into that detail with you because you guys all know what that means. The meaning behind that is, Mr. Realtor, is that I believe that if we speak the same language to our clients, we have the best chance of amplifying that relationship to yield us a current client or a past client referral. And I'm striving to have my business be completely that way, because a lot like you, I don't want to talk to people that treat me like a commodity. I want to work with people that value my knowledge and expertise and understand that I fulfill these three roles. And that's what they're hiring me to do, which in my definition, as a realtor, you perform these three functions. If you do them exceptionally, you've now provided yourself a reason to compete against the big discount shops or the online services or the for sale by owners, which most agents in the market that I've interviewed don't really have that ability to define their value. But I believe that if we work together, I can help you with that. And if we can speak the same language, I believe it provides us the best chance at getting referrals, which you've said which is ideal for you. So my question for you now is, if you're not getting the service that you know you want, which you've told me that you're after, what would it take for you to refer a client of yours to a lender that shares in that mindset? Because my mindset is that I believe that I'm the best partner for you in all the loans that all the deals that you pass out to your loan officers. And if you're not getting that mindset, then you might want to consider looking elsewhere. And I could sit here and tell you that we do this all day long, but I'd rather show you. So the best way for me to show you what we are capable of doing is for you to send me the next referral that you have and let me prove to you what our process is like and how good of a job we do for your clients. Because I honestly believe that my number one goal is to get that client to come back to you and say thank you. That's just the basic entry-level standard that I have for myself. It isn't even doing the loan in the beginning. It's just getting that client to understand that I'm a consultant first and to get them to come back to you and say thank you. If you got that on every referral that you gave to your lenders, would you not have a more successful, more referable business?
Doug, I've been using that same question, and I've been getting all kinds of responses from it. Like, what's your definition of a successful transaction?
Yeah.
One agent I threw that at last week basically said, for me, it's not hearing from you until we're ready to clear a close.
Then you now help me understand that I don't want a partnership with you. You don't care about it.
Right,
See,
exactly.
The question actually provides you the chance to say no to them before they ever say no to you.
Right.
Yeah, because what we really want is at that moment, I just don't want to waste my time. So in your mind, you're asking yourself, why do I want to use this realtor? Or why would this realtor want to use me? This question sets the stage for what's really going on between the ears of that realtor. Like, I frankly would have looked at that agent and said, I don't want to hear from you until we're ready to close. Like, well, I appreciate that. I don't know if we're going to be a good fit, because I believe communication is the centerpiece for the growth of my business, and it doesn't seem like that's what you're after. I wish you the best of luck, my friend. Have a great afternoon. Sorry to have bothered you. And I would walk away.
It's funny because when I dug a little deeper, what she wanted to hear was, like, I don't want to hear about problems. And I kind of explained how we're set up here. And I said, well, what that tells me is your experience so far with these other lenders, and I knew who they were because I looked them up on MLS, who she's used in the last year or so. I was like, here's what that tells me, and we agreed that that was the issue, and then we went into my communication. Better. I went into my communication story that I shared with you a week or so ago or whatever. Anyway, it ended up being a very, very good conversation. I've already got a referral from her for about $360,000 opportunity. So, and that was 2 days later. But it was funny because I met with a guy this week and said that to him, and he started talking about what type of client he was looking for. I was like, no, you're talking about client. I'm talking about, what's the transaction that we're talking about. So anyway, I think it's a great question because it's so wide open.
Well, what it does is it allows you to take the information that they give you, and it allows you to orchestrate the conversation to go where you exactly want it to be, which is, I'm going to show you, or not really, you're going to tell me what I already know you're going to say, which is going to lead us to, I need you to refer me somebody in order to get the benefit of what you've told me you want.
Yeah.
Which at the end of the day, we have a hard time in our dialogues with our realtors of getting them to commit to referring us because we don't have a unique selling proposition that motivates them and influences them to want to refer us. A lot of these realtors are going to show up to these conversations and they're not going to have a loan to refer you. That's okay. But the idea of what you're leaving them with is the concept of there is not a better lender partnership that you could ask for that will provide you the best chance of getting a referral during the process, because I'm not just going to take a loan from A to B. That's not what you're hiring me to do. What you're hiring me to do is to amplify the relationship so that you look good, I look good, we have a chance to get future business, which eventually provides us the freedom to say my business is completely referred to me by people who know me, like me, and trust me, and you don't have to spin your wheels with people who just use you and abuse you every day.
Right.
That question, guys, literally sets the standard for what you want in your business. That's the power in the question. The answers that you're going to get are going to tell you more about the person who's sitting in front of you than any frogging will ever do. The question opens the door for you to want to frog them.
Yeah.
That question sets the stage for what you already know that they want. And rest assured, every realtor will answer with 100% conviction, I'd rather have a referral than a lead. but right now I don't have enough referrals, so I've got to get leads.
Yeah.
That in turn, that's the open door to, well, if I could teach you how to take that one client and be more referable, and that turns into another opportunity, and we continue to do that while you continue to market and do all this other stuff, I can help you get to the place where you want to be. See, it elevates you beyond product, rate, fees, and being another loan officer. You're actually acting the part of being the consultant, which is what you tell your realtors you are for their clients. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Stunned us into silence.
I stunned you
And
into
the other thing,
silence.
I mean, the other thing I've run into the past couple of weeks as well, and I don't know if you guys are experiencing the same thing, but if you do secure a meeting with an agent, one of my questions is, why did you agree to meet with me? That's the first thing. What prompted you to take this meeting? And then second, a lot of them are looking for help with Zillow marketing, which, I'm not a huge fan of. I've had success with it. Some I haven't. I don't prefer to do it, but basically what it did for me was opening up the conversation about, well, I'm not opposed to that, but wouldn't you agree that we need to work 2 or 3 deals together to see if we're a fit? And if so, that's a conversation we can have. And every one of them said, yeah, that sounds fair. So
But even the
say
conversation
no,
about Zillow,
maybe.
right? The conversation about Zillow also speaks to the value of they're not building a business that's referable.
Well, I'm just saying temporarily.
Right.
Temporarily, because things are so slow, they're scrambling to get, listings and things like that. If it's the main component of their business, then I'm out. I'm just not
correct.
I'll just tell them no, thank you. I'm not down with that. So.
Yep. And that's the beauty of what we're doing here is that I've always said to you guys, what you say and what comes out of your mouth makes you different, because what you are really is the prize. You guys have to believe it in your heads and in your heart that when you show up to talk to these realtors, you guys possess more value, more professionalism, more consulting skills, more everything as it relates to doing our jobs than a realtor ever will. A realtor still can be pushed out of a transaction with an attorney, with a for sale by owner box, and with a discount real estate shop. The realtor really doesn't have a valid reason for making 3% on a deal. When you have all these other options out there, consumers have them. So your greatest asset to these agents is to help teach them what their value is so that they can profess it to their clients, which will eventually lead them to the path of, if you want a business that's predictable and sustainable, I would love to teach you. Have I ever showed you guys that staircase, that the steps of success?
No.
Are you guys all on your computers by chance?
Uh-huh.
I am.
Yeah, I am.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to pull this up.
Do it.
I'm going to open up my screen here. Hold on 1 second. Can
Want me
everybody
to
see my
open
screen?
something?
Nope, just turn your, make sure your monitor's on.
Okay.
Okay. All right. You guys see what's on my screen?
Yes.
No. Hang on. Do I need to? I need to.
You need to log on through the computer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the guys,
I need to log. I need to log on to your
Yep.
GoToMeeting join, right?
Yep. Yep. So what you're looking at here is what I have, what I believe is the evolution of business. Most realtors
can't process me. Shoot.
What you see on the screen is essentially the evolution of what people go through when they make a decision to find a career or to find their path in life. Every one of us starts off in a survival mode. We have a job, living paycheck to paycheck. We try to find ways to make money, and we try to find something that we're happy with. We've all been at that point. I honestly believe that most realtors stay at this level and never get past. Truly, they never do. What it takes to go to a business mindset is to have stability. When you have a business and you actually have stability in your business, that means that you've produced systems, strategies, and you've had some mild success, and you're now starting to believe that you have what it takes to create this as a career. You can literally make this a career. I remember in my evolution, the job part of it, I was in it for about 4 years. It took me about 6 months to change my mindset from a job to a business. I was in the business standpoint probably till probably from 2000 to 2005 is where I was running a business. And then when I opened up my own mortgage company, I went from 2005 to 2009 when I closed it down, and then from 2009 to 2012 or 13 is when I either was the owner of a company or was a full-time loan officer originator. And it wasn't until the end of 2012 where I took a step and a leap of faith and put myself into this role at the company, which is where I think my greatest calling and significance came from. You know, and that's where I finally found that level where I feel like this is where I'm going to end my working life as. But most realtors, when you put this out on a piece of paper and you show that to your agents, it's an amazing thing to write survival, stability, success, and significance, and job, business, career, and calling on a piece of paper in this format, because it really helps define where you see A, your business, and B, where they see their business. Do you really want to be a partner with somebody who's at a step below you, or would you rather be in a partnership with somebody who's at the step that you're on or above you? Right. I'd rather be with somebody that's either on my level or ahead of me. The problem that we have is that we still think of realtors of being the prize. Well, when you look at this, I don't consider my business, even when I was running a business and I had stability, I always still believe that realtors were beneath it because I still think most realtors barely make enough money to pay their bills. I don't think many of them have a significant income. I don't think many of them have major success. Ask yourself the next time you're sitting in front of a realtor, in your head go, where do they fit on this little chain, on these little stairs?
You know, the other day, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I said the other day I was talking to Tammy Flass about, you know, how she had built her circle. And she said through Freedom Club, one thing that she'd learned that really turned her life around, and we've both been in it for years, and it was really interesting because she said, you know, they teach you, we look so much at a realtor as the realtor and their referral person and things like that. But she said, you know, I changed everything around, and I looked at them as my friend, and I cultivated them as such. And she goes, that's where everything turned around. But they're still your business partner, but in perception, you're taking it on a more intimate, you know, relationship that has more loyalty and consistency that she has experienced. So I thought that was good.
Correct. It is. If you can create a relationship where you have a friendship with your referral partners, I have greater friendships with referral partners that were financial planners, attorneys, and CPAs, just because I believe that we all shared the similar business attitude. Like, we treated our clients a certain way. I believe that financial planners and attorneys and CPAs look at their businesses very similar to mine. CPAs get a ton of repeat business. So did I. Attorneys rely very heavily, at least the attorneys I associated with, through referrals very heavily. And my financial planners, they're governed by such stringent protocols that when you do something for them and it makes them look good and they don't have to worry about marketing themselves or doing anything else like that, it just makes their life easier when they're getting referrals because you're providing them with an amplification of the relationship that they provided you. It's a really cool process. But we go back to what this whole conversation really is about. When you sit in front of a realtor, you want to make sure who you're talking to is actually A, worth your time, B, make sure that you guys are actually after the same thing, and C, you're putting the request out there that says, in order for you to truly see what I'm capable of doing, if you really want to go from being in a survival mode to a stability mode, I'm the best partner that you could ask for to help you get there. And that's really the whole premise.
I like that. That I like. That is definitely a stand apart there. I like that.
Guys, do you hear what I'm saying there too?
Yep.
Yeah, I hear that is good. I like that.
So all I'm really wanting from you guys is when you're calling up these agents, when you're actually engaging with them, you have to realize that what you're saying to them is I'm the best partner that you could ever hope to work with. If you want something more than just a JOB. Most agents, I believe, just want a JOB. They're not really committed. They don't really want the same things that we want. But having this in the back of your head should, in my opinion, make it very easy to pick up the phone and leave a message for a realtor. Should make it very easy to sit in front of a realtor and be like, listen, I can do 3 of these a day. If I have 3 of these conversations a day for the next week, there's no way that I can't meet with 10 realtors and get 3 or 4 of them to believe that I'm capable. Like Bobby said earlier, if that was you, Bobby, you met with that realtor and got a referral out of it for $300 and some odd thousand already. Isn't that what we all want?
It is.
And Bobby, what was it that convinced that realtor to refer you already? What do you think that was?
That wasn't me.
Oh, was that Dan?
Nope.
Oh, come on. Which one of you said it? It was one of the guys. Was it Todd?
Maybe,
Oh.
yeah, maybe he's gone. It was a 360 referral.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was the guy who said it. What's that?
Sorry, guys. It was me. I had to put you on mute for a second.
Oh, got it. Is this Todd?
Yes.
Okay. So, and it goes back to that. I mean, what was it that got that realtor to like you enough to want to refer you within a week's time?
I think it was, obviously the connection was part of it, but I
Don't think. You know what it was. You can pinpoint it. You know when it happened.
Yep, like you said, it was the words that came out of my mouth. It was just
But what did it
speaking.
What did it do to her? Like, what was it that was conveyed to her that made her go, God, yes, I want to send him a deal?
I want to say sincerity, but that's not the right word. I think it was
It's not.
just. It was
You
just.
probably believe that you were going to give her a deal or a referral. based
Well,
on-
yeah, and then that I was different. I didn't ask her for anything. Nothing. We didn't even talk rates. We didn't talk any of that. It was just, here's what I bring to the table. It was a partnership that she felt like that I was being honest up front, and it was from day one. It wasn't something that I work up to. It was like, this is how it's going to go.
One of the things that I really want each of you guys to have in your toolbox is the conviction to know why your agents use you. When we can't define it for ourselves, our agents can't define it for us. I'm not challenging you so much on what you're doing as much as I want you to be very clear and convicted on why your agents use you, because when you know exactly why, that allows you to tap into that mindset every single time you talk to your agents. Whether it's the way you presented yourself, whether it was your sincerity, whether it was the fact that you didn't ask for anything, I don't know what it was. But the fact that it happened should be something that you take very seriously and actually maybe follow up with the agent and go, you know what, I've done hundreds of these meetings, and I can't for the life of me figure out what your impression of me was that made you compelled to want to send me a transaction. And trust me, I love it, and I'm honored and thankful, but I'm always trying to improve my business. So if you could, what was it about me when you left that meeting that made you feel compelled to want to refer me? And the reason you want to hear their words is because then it etches it in their brain as much as it etches it in yours. And I think it's appropriate, if you're a true professional, to ask them what their thoughts are. Ask for feedback, because it'll just make you better for the next realtor meeting. And the agents that refer you because of the way you present yourself, it isn't what you say. It isn't how you present yourself. That's all part of it. But the truth is that realtor believes what you believe. There's an author out there by the name of Simon Sinek, and he talks about starting with why. I'm willing to bet you if you ask that realtor why she referred you, it's probably going to be because you guys share the same belief system and agenda with your clients. She believes you are the best person to put her clients in touch with to provide the best possible outcome for her business, which goes back to the triangle of trust, which goes back to the amplification of relationships. And if you can convey that message, heartfelt, sincerely, convicted, with enthusiasm, the realtors that want the same things are going to clamor to send you business. Does anybody not see that?
That's good.
Does anybody believe that that's not true? Is there a scenario where that wouldn't work? Or provide you the chance to ask for business in a very supportive, partnership-oriented way, not leaning. I'm not talking about leaning on them for business. I'm talking about, I have something of value, and the best way for you to experience it is to let me work with one of your clients. That's not leaning. That's saying, in order for me to help you, the only way for me to help you is to help you with a client that you have in process. And you can choose to send it anywhere you want, but I'm the best person to send it to. Now, that's just kind of what I think.
That's good.
Anybody else? Questions, concerns, thoughts? Wow.
No, but I'm going to change a few things
Good.
on these initial interviews with what you just shared on the job, business, career calling. That's excellent.
Yeah, it is. I like that.
I recorded the call, so I'll send you guys all the replay. I recorded the call.
I'm gonna have to get my drawing skills up. I'm gonna have to get my drawing skills up. All that two-dimensional stuff, you know, the mind blower.
You know what? I did that just for purposes of presentation. I think you can do this on a napkin and make it pretty easy.
Yeah.
I'll just take a picture of it on my phone. Just take a picture of it on the screen while it's up.
Yep. I like drawing it out on a napkin because I think when you outline this for your client or when you're in front of your realtor, does it help promote your value as being a professional or as a consultant when you're looking at your business this way? Or do you think it diminishes your value?
Oh, no way
Yeah,
would it
that's
diminish
fine.
your value.
Yeah. No, I just took a picture for the blueprint.
The only thing that makes us different than any other lender that shows up at the table is what?
What we say.
Words that come out of, it's the words that come out of our mouth. Everything that I'm sharing with you guys is just little techniques around articulating what you guys already feel and believe in your hearts and your head. I'm just giving you tools to take what your gifts are and to put them in a way that your audience responds. That's it. That's all this is. This isn't rocket science. This is simply identifying, what's that?
I would say build and it will come. I always remember that slogan.
This is nothing more than connecting with people and, like Sue said, having a friendship with them. This gives you the credibility to say yes or no to them, and then it gives you the credibility to frog them to find out if you like them and if they like you. I like when I present this to realtors because it taught me so much about what realtors are and are not. And when you point to this and go, let's fast forward 3 years from now, Mr. Agent, where would you like to see yourself? Still in the survival mode, or would you like to see yourself somewhere between the stability and the success mode? And everybody says, I want to be in the success mode. That's a really great plan. The problem is not a lot of people have what it takes to get there. And I think that the number one reason most people can't get there or past 1 to 2 is they don't know how to make themselves a referable person. And by referable, I mean people have to want to talk about you to people that they care about. That's the only way you're really going to gain significant momentum and significant stability. That's it. And if you can't master that, you will always hover at the bottom stair. And nobody wants to be there. But I can't drag people along. I have to find real estate professionals that are either at or above or are passionate about getting there. I don't know where you're at yet, but in order for me to find out or for me to be able to show you what I can do, let's get a deal together. That's an ask. That really is the ask at the end of every meeting. There's no better way to ask them for an opportunity than that. And if they don't refer you, it isn't because you aren't worthy, it's because they don't have anything.
That's exactly right.
And that's when you look at it and go, that's just one of the 95 percenters that I just don't want to work with. Move on to the next one. That's why if you have 7 realtor appointments a week and you're having these conversations with every single one of them, after a month you'll have met 42 realtors. You can't tell me you can't find 10 realtors out of 42 that believe in what you believe?
Yeah.
You now have the...
Go ahead,
I'm
Doug,
sorry.
No,
I was going to say, just to be able to have that confidence, knowing that when you show up to a realtor meeting, you're literally going to make their head spin. They're literally not going to have a word in edgewise to combat what you're telling them. What it really boils down to doing after you say all this stuff and after you present yourself is what Sue said. Do you like me and do I like you? And frankly, I'm going to be the one that tells you I don't like you first if you give me a response that doesn't gel with what I believe. I'm not going to wait for you to fire me. I'm going to fire you because you're a commodity. The realtors are more of a commodity than we ever will be. And I'm not saying that arrogantly. I'm saying that when you sit down with a realtor, you're the doctor, they're the patient. You're the attorney, they're the client. They need you more than you need them. Not because they can go out there and get leads. Hell, you guys can go get leads. You provide them the best chance to reach the stability and the success levels that no other lender can. If I had that in my head every time I woke up, I'd have no fear scheduling 7 realtor appointments a week because I know that when I show up to them, I'm going to knock it out of the park. You're going to get these people looking at you like deer in headlights going, holy crap. Tim, or Todd, when you had that meeting, what's that?
I was just going to, it really does help with your confidence. For those that are on the call, I don't know about you, but starting this process, the call reluctance is the kiss of death, and not knowing what to say or overthinking it to the point where you're like, what am I going to say that everybody else is saying? And you get away from that when you find something that works, and it just, I mean, I don't even prepare for the meeting. I hope that doesn't sound bad, other than looking up their production and what they did last year. But as far as studying notes, okay, what am I going to say? It's just a free-form dynamic thing. You walk in the door, you already know you have
Yep.
everything. And like Doug says, you have the mindset that, you know, you're going to blow their mind like, this is your day because you're meeting me. I'm going to change everything about everything we're doing. And then it's just a dynamic thing that just flows and just happens. At least that's been my experience. It just takes the pressure off, and it's actually the best part of my day, because I tell them I hate doing loans. I'm honest with them. I hate doing loans. I hate collecting documents. I don't have to anymore, and here's why. And here's why we're different, and here's how we communicate, and aren't you glad that, you know, we met today, because it's going to be awesome, you know, that kind of thing. So
I had said in the very beginning of our calls, and maybe I didn't say it to you guys, but I always try to make a point of conveying it. Your heart and your head have to be in alignment in order for the words that we already know that make us different, in order for the words that come out of our mouth to have any conviction. Everything that you guys are listening to and that Todd has just reiterated has everything to do with the confidence, the conviction, the clarity that says that I already have a belief system in the way I want my business to be done. I'm not interested in working with somebody that doesn't believe what I believe. It's nothing you've got to prepare for. I literally would come up with 5 bullet points. Do the staircase, ask the questions. I'd come up with a 5 bullet point process, and that would be my presentation with a realtor. And I would get so good at it, like I'm sharing with you guys, I'm not reading a script when I talk to you guys. This is stuff that flows out of me because it's in my heart and in my head, and I've done it so many times. But when you get to be conversational with it, your audience is in awe because they've never talked to a lender who talks and acts and thinks and presents themselves the way that you do. That's your greatest asset. If you're not talking to 7 realtors a week and having this conversation, then you'll probably be disappointed in your production. I'm willing to bet you that if you're meeting with less than 7 realtors a week and not having this conversation, you're probably not hitting your production goals that you're wanting. So the only way to change it is go out there and start having this conversation with realtors. And when you get good, then divert your energy to attorneys and financial planners and CPAs. I know, Sue, you have a hard time with that. But you have a variety of other avenues that you can get business from. And here's the best byproduct of it all. And I'm going to brag a little bit. When I closed up my shop in 2012 and turned my business over to my loan, a good friend of mine that I brought in from Merrill Lynch, Alan, and then when I gave the referrals that I still currently get to my wife, both of them did over $10 million in loan volume last year. Alan, my guy who took over my business, has been in the business since 2013, and he hasn't done one piece of marketing and advertising. He's done everything built on the database that I gave him and his technique that I taught him, and just who he is. I mean, he's a really good person like you guys all are. And I'm still getting referrals from my clients that I haven't talked to in 3 years. They're calling me directly. They're not calling Alan. They're still calling me, which means that I made a lasting impression on them to never forget that that's the way my business is built. That's the byproduct of what I'm telling you guys. Your clients that are active right now become past clients that will remember what you did, and they will refer you for years and years and years. You can neglect them and they'll still refer you. See, what we're talking about is still the front end part of our businesses with realtors, but we're not even tapping into the realization that what we're building in the front provides us all this extra business that we're not even really thinking about. There's a book out there called Mining Diamonds or Mining for Diamonds, and they talk about how when they mine for diamonds, they dig one hole and they go really, really deep and they keep looking, and all these other veins. When in reality, all the diamonds that we need are all on the surface, but they're all scattered over this huge plot of land. There's no reason why we can't take advantage of every client that's coming in. Each one of those represents a lifelong relationship that they know 20 people that they care about. And you'd be amazed at how many people think about you when you're not even thinking about them, especially when you set the stage, like I've talked to you guys. When you go and approach it through the triangle of trust and tell people you need their help. This is the power. It's not rocket science. It's just you've got to shift your mindset from being transactional and being reactive to being more purposeful, deliberate, intentional, and be willing to tell people that you need help. And your realtor can now see you as being the best partner that they could ever hope to have, because you do what they essentially want to do. And where you guys were at last year, emotionally and mentally, you can get your realtors to be where you're at today, which, don't you think that's a great asset to have in a partner?
Sure.
Yep.
Come on, guys. 7 realtor appointments in the next 7 days. Shouldn't be hard. Have this conversation. The more you have them, chances are your production's going to go up.
It wouldn't hurt my feelings.
It wouldn't hurt my feelings to see you guys crush it. I would love to see you guys up at the, at the conference this year in Nashville, up on stage, being like, man, I had the best year ever. I want to hear that from you guys. I don't want to hear regrets. I want to hear you guys, and I want to be able to listen to you guys talk about the things that matter most to you, not about how I didn't get a chance to do what I wanted or how I didn't hit the numbers that I wanted. I'm giving you every bit of what I know to help build that layer of confidence up so that you can go out there and just knock it out of the park and actually show up like Todd does and go, I'm the prize here, buddy, not you. I just have to figure out if you're worthy of my time. Not arrogantly, but you guys know what I'm saying.
Yeah, in the back of your mind.
Yeah. You're like, you got to prove yourself to me. I'm not here to prove myself to you. I'm going to tell you what I think, but just by me telling you what I think, you're going to be impressed. Because frankly, you think a realtor is going to say something to you that you don't already know?
Well, and my goal too, in the back of my mind too, is I'm going to make, if they're working with a preferred lender, I'm going to make their life hell. Because after the meeting, the agent's going to come back and expect things a little bit differently, or looking for the same type attitude, or maybe words, or just general idea. If that happens, then that's a win.
That's exactly right. And you want them to remember you. right? You
Yeah.
want them to remember you, so when you follow up with them the following week, this is the best thing that I love. After the initial meeting, if you're doing the Thor's Hammer, you have 12 weeks. Call them up and go, hey, listen, I had a great idea that I'd like to share with you about how you can become more referable with your clients. If you're interested, and it's just a follow-up call from our last conversation, I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about being a consultant. And then the next week, you can leave them a message if they don't call you back and go, I'm sorry, I may have missed your call, but I thought based on our initial meeting, you'd love to learn how to be a consultant. You know, if that's not a good thing for you, that's okay, but you know, I probably won't be reaching out to you until I hear back from you. You have something that they're going to want to learn more about, don't you think?
Yep.
Mm.
And it gives you the freedom to call them back and be like, well, we can talk more if you'd like to.
And if few of you aren't, doing this, opposed to phone calls, I've done, you know, is partnering as the lender with open houses. I'm doing one Saturday on a beautiful home with the realtor and building a relationship, because you have so much one-on-one time. And then when I'm not doing those, then I go on Sundays, sometimes Saturdays, just a couple hours out of the day, go to for sale by owner open houses and go to other open houses that you just go and meet the realtor. I get at least 20 minutes in between people, so those are great ways to.
That's a great idea. I've done the same thing as well. I'm glad you brought that up. I'll call them ahead of time and say, hey, can I come keep you company for an hour? Because literally they're just sitting there.
Yeah. I actually propose it. For the whole thing and plan it ahead and go, and if they need anything. And sometimes I'll do like a real low-cost drawing to get real names and phone numbers so that I can go back and try to capture them and things like that. But that way you're hitting 4 or 5 realtors in one day.
Yeah, good point. And a lot of times those are new agents. Very rarely do you have a super successful agent doing their own open house.
Yeah, a lot of times
they don't like them.
assistant.
Yeah, exactly. It's the new agent or just anybody, and they're able to keep the leads that come across. So that's a good point. I'd forgotten about that.
Yep, I love it. Okay, guys, I got to get ready for my next call. Have a great rest of your week and weekend. I want to see and hear some great results next week. Todd, congratulations. I thought that was an awesome success story. $360,000.
It was a lot of fun. It really pushes you for the next one. It's such a kick in the butt. It's a great kick in the butt.
Oh. Awesome. Guys, I will talk to you guys next week. I'll convert the recording and send it to you as soon as I'm done.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.